I'm Kieth Parkinson. I'm an artist based at Atelier Arts in Clitheroe, and I'm here today painting one of my favourite landscapes. So hopefully we'll get something quite autumny to reflect this lovely afternoon. So I'm looking across one of my favourite views. This road from Black Moss over through Downham and onto Clitheroe was a journey I used to make several times a week on my way to and from work at the studios in Clitheroe, and it's just a very special journey for me. I used to love making this journey across this hill, so I'm going to have a go at representing the landscape across there, out towards Pennygent and Whernside and Ingleborough and all that lot. As you can see, it's such a really big, wide landscape, and I have to admit, I do always find it really difficult to manage because there is just so much information. So what I'm going to do today is try and pare that right down and look at some of the key patterns. And we've got such a fantastic sky today, so I'm going to focus on a big sky. That's one of the reasons I like this journey, is because of that massive sky, and there's just so much going on in it all the time. So I'm going to put my landscape quite low down on the canvas. The difficulty here is always managing the scale of the hillsides and getting the different key features in with the appropriate distance between them, which isn't always easy. I'm not going into any great detail at this stage, and in fact there's probably unlikely to be a great deal of detail in the whole thing, because I'm focusing more on the patterns, really, the patterns of light and dark. You've got to manage that change, and you're constantly looking for the change, and I love it. But at the end of the day, at some point you have to make final decisions. So what you're doing, whenever you're doing any piece of artwork or any drawing or painting, it's an exercise of constantly looking and re-looking. So what I'm focusing isn't so much necessarily, and particularly what my sketch was about, I wasn't focusing on a particularly accurate drawing. I was trying to get a feel for all that movement and life and energy going on up in that sky. So that's where I'm going next. And actually I think what I'm doing is I'm watching movement. I'm watching movement and life, and I'm trying to get a sense of that. All I'm doing at the moment is just banging on some blue in the gaps through those clouds. You can see it's quite thin at the moment, and the orange is showing through. Yeah, so what I'm seeing in front of me now is this really bright blue up here, which fades out to a paler one way into the distance there, and then we've got these bands of clouds which are within themselves bands of white and this grey purple that I really like so much. So I'm going to try and represent some of that now. That's a little bit red, that's a bit too much blue. It's something I always did, painting and drawing as a kid. I used to sit with my granddad drawing and so on, and then as I got older, went through school, I dropped it at school. I didn't continue. I didn't do art O level. I'd do a couple of paintings a year, perhaps, a few drawings. Most of my art was done when I was teaching art in school, and I'd sit down and do some little drawings with the children. And so basically I made it the exit strategy. Went and did some evening classes and used it as a means of escape. Right, yeah, I think that sky's not looking so bad. I think I'll stick with that for the moment anyway, and I'll start thinking about what I'm going to do with this foreground. Just trying to get a handle on what I'm looking at and what I want to focus on. Just trying to look through now, just see where my features were. They're not set in stone, but just give me a guide. Just getting a quick representation of the bands of light and dark I'm seeing before I sort of work on them in any great depth. To be careful at this stage of doing the tinkering, so I think I'm just about to tinker. I'm going to call it done.